Okay, so here we are. Cześć,
Hello.
I'm Piotr, co-CEO of Boldare, and you are watching Agile Product Builders Tech Edition, a 25-minute series for today's product builders. In this episode, we're going behind the scenes of a real software development team that is using AI not as a sidekick, but as a part of their daily development process. We want to understand how this actually works in practice and how these teams are integrating AI into coding, testing, documentation, and delivery. And of course, where the real productivity gains are coming from. Today's guest, Arek Kafka. Cześć, Arek. Agile product lead here at Boldare. Arek leads one of our most AI-enhanced product teams that is working with an international client on a complex digital platform. And his team has been experimenting with AI in every stage of SDLC, from analyzing and creating Figma designs to generating tests to writing documentation and automating framework upgrades. Arek, really great to have you. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and I'm happy to share with you some details on how do we actually leverage AI's capabilities in our day-to-day work. Hopefully, you will get some nice output out of today's discussion.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward. But before we dive in, a quick warm up. People often say that AI helps developers move twice as fast. What is your take? What is your gut feeling? Realistic or hype?
Yeah, I think the usual question would be, answer to this question would be, it depends. Of course, you might get some areas where this 2 times faster result is possible. It all depends on what do you really expect. So if you want to do something really fast, you don't really care that much about the quality, or you can simply do some shortcuts. Yes, it will go this way. But if you want to have like full understanding of what's going on and be sure that you don't mess anything on the go, it's not that straightforward. So you need to still be in control and don't actually move too fast because it might produce some bad results.
Okay, so still we have more
So
options
hype.
with AI. You're
Yeah.
saying hype, but also some things are possible, maybe that can become quicker, right? But it's not like a magic wand or whatsoever. But okay, so let's
For
start
sure.
with the setup. What kind of project and team are we talking about? How big? How long? I don't know. Lines of code,
Yeah.
maybe. What's your role in it?
Sure. So, well, the project that we are working on is for the customer that we work with for quite some time already in our company. When it comes to domain, the customer operates in the labor leasing and management industry, providing services that connect labor providers with businesses and government entities. There's also the possibility of the system to facilitate the management of job vacancies and applications for both the B2B model and B2C models, so a bit like a job board. When it comes to the team size, or maybe when did we start? We started more than 7 years ago, actually. We have a cross-functional team on our side consisting of 5 developers, 1 QA, 1 product designer, and me as APL, as you've mentioned. And on the customer side, we mostly cooperate with product owner and some other supporting roles. Yeah, currently, as in the title, we are in sprint number 212 actually. So it's been quite a journey so far. Still actively developing new features and of course maintaining the existing functionalities. You've asked about code base size. It's almost 280 Ks in the repo. And yeah, my role as APL Agile Project Lead is kind of like covering mostly Scrum Master and People Manager responsibilities, where I try to make sure that we are linking well between the processes optimization, balancing those processes, and delivery for the customer with internal team development and team's needs and organization's needs on our regular work. And actually, I've joined the team only within this year, but yeah, it's already been quite a nice and fun journey.
Okay, so it's congratulations. It's quite a big product, right? Already,
Yeah,
and we can definitely say it's a mature one. Nothing that you can do
for
over the
sure.
weekend, and for sure nothing what we can vibe code. So how did you start with this AI enhancement development in such a big and complex environment?
Yeah, so the journey with AI enhanced way of working began sometime, I think it was within this year, actually with rather simple stuff like using some basic prompts, experimenting a bit with GPT models, especially for some simpler tasks, some code suggestions, assisted development. I know that initially the team also used GitHub's Copilot during their work. And it was rather just, I would say, from today's perspective, something very, very basic. Later on, there was this idea to start testing tools like Cursor, like Cloud Code, and that's when the, let's say, real breakthrough came into place. Also, there was this turning point where actually you came to us to discuss how we can actually start leveraging AI's capabilities in day-to-day development in the work that we are doing. And well, quite soon afterwards, teams started using those tools extensively. And over the time, they've like expanded the usage of AI to working on larger features, to implementing bigger portions of like the whole solution. Of course, still starting with simpler tasks like generating templates, some boilerplate code, but later on moving towards more complex functionalities like even generating full project documentation, which I'll be talking a bit more about later on. And to add to this, also there were some trainings involved in this because I remember that some of the devs and our product designer also was doing some trainings that also helped a lot in making sure that the daily usage of AI is done well. So that's also a good idea, I would say.
Okay, so can I assume it's like it started with curiosity and the small things and what you said, and maybe this can be labeled as a productivity boost or at least something which is kind of a breakthrough when you started using AI first Cursor IDE, and that's where things started real interesting. And so basically, it started from the code, right? And
Yes.
mm, so yeah, I got you. It's not two times the performance, right? But did you already started? What kind of productivity boosts you were experiencing at the beginning that or what dragged you into this world of AI tools in software development?
Yeah, I think what you've mentioned is quite important that this whole thing boils down to a good integration into the tools that the guys were already using. So the IDE integration is key here because only when being able to use it extensively without actually needing to change something drastically in the way of working, that's something that can help us. And initially, the team saw this productivity boost in the things like, for example, we have a bit of work related with translation management as our products are bilingual. So we always kind of struggled with those translations that we required some help from the customer, making sure that we don't forget about anything, etc. We're able to leverage AI's capabilities in actually doing part of the job for us. So We didn't need to do everything by ourselves or count only on the customer to provide you those translations. Also, some smaller refactorings at the beginning were also a good place where we could see this boost of productivity being there because those AI tools were able to get a good context of those changes quite soon, being prompted correctly. So guys still, of course, being in control, yet they could see that it is actually helping them. And especially with some repetitive stuff, it was a good thing to see how they can actually use it on a day-to-day basis. And there was some, initial hesitation. There were many doubts how it will actually work when it comes to anything more complex. And we had some errors there, but I will mention about it later on, I guess. But still, pairing the tools like Cursor and Cloud Code, I think were the two biggest parts helping us. And also, not only in strictly development, but also in the product design related work, I would say that we could see this boost in the way of working with the front-end designs. So having a well-fed GPT model, knowing the context of our application, knowing the tone of voice of our product, other like product characteristics, vocabulary, dictionary, so that the specific language can be and was leveraged very well to help us actually get some nice results quicker and still with a very, very good quality.
Excellent. That's great. So if we go a little bit deeper, can you show or tell us a few examples, right? Like what is in which AI makes a real difference? Like, I don't know, not only generating code, but maybe a client's report or upgrading frameworks.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a case because when it comes to upgrading frameworks, it's a good example that we already saw in practice a couple of times. So having like again a well-prepared prompts with AI tools, we were doing a Symfony upgrade, and if we were to do it manually, it would take way more time than doing this with the AI usage. Again, it was way easier to navigate through all those complex migration tasks, make sure that all the necessary code changes are being done. And actually, most of the job was done automatically. So if I would just come to the team, ask them if we can do this, I don't know, in 2 days or whatever. Of course, we don't work in this way, but still it was way faster. And additionally, we were also using tools like Context 7 that allowed us to be sure that we are actually using the latest versions of all those packages because it was not only about Symfony during those updates. So once again, it helped in getting a way quicker results with bumping up the versions of packages and frameworks that we are using. One more example, and I think I will be able to show you at least part of it. Let me try this. It's actually the feature documentation, because at some point we were asked by the customer to do like a full feature documentation for the solution that we are working on. So I can't show you too much, of course, due to those security stuff. But here's like just an example of a specific point that documents one of the features in publishing a resume. Which is kind of fully automatically generated by the AI, of course, still well fed and well prompted, but still doing this task of creating the documentation of an entire system with, as I said, 280 thousand lines of code would be a very mundane task. So this document is not even the final version, but it also helped us in generating diagrams. So it was way quicker to do it for like more than 100 pages of those documents. But then again, using AI made it a way simpler task and a way quicker task where we could actually see this gain in our own eyes. And actually, the last version is almost 700 pages for one
Oh,
part
wow.
of the system and 350 pages for the other part of the system. Of course, there's this great question to be asked that if this kind of documentation is valid or will be used at all. Still, yeah, we know that it is something that is important for our customers. So, of course, we wanted to match this requirement. And we know that it is actually being used at least to some extent. So we see again this correlation of us doing this with AI, well better, way better experience than doing this without AI. I guess some guys would simply call in sick if they were to do it manually only. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fantastic. Actually, this is great, right? This AI really helps us with all this boring stuff, right?
exactly.
Upgrading frameworks, never never a nice thing, right? And definitely documentation is not. I never saw a developer that was like, hooray, I'm gonna write documentation. So
Everyone
basically,
loves
I
this.
think the speed, but also the quality. I suppose writing 500 or 700 pages is not
Yeah,
not a not a small feat, right? And I also know
yeah,
that it's
exactly.
also you have this mechanism that it's up to date, right? So this is actually much better than what I saw made by humans, right? I'm talking about documentation.
Yeah, you mean like the mechanism for auto updating it?
Yes.
Yeah, we have it, but it's not. Let's say it's not fully implemented. As at some point, we saw that doing this fully autonomously was not really giving us satisfactory results
Okay.
because having like ability to verify the whole package of this documentation. That would be done in a way that whenever there is a change in the code, there's the agent that catches this change and makes sure that it is already able to be updated autonomously. Then again, this update does happen. When it turned out that there are some mistakes on the go, so it was not that easy even for like well-fed tool to get this information fully. And in the end, we decided to go with a bit simpler approach. That simply we are reminded always whenever there is a change that would impact the existing documentation and simply would require an actual update in this documentation. So that's one piece of the puzzle. And the second piece actually is about also the thing that sometimes happens that is kind of important as well. So being able to find all those changes and update the whole documentation, like with the 700 pages, would cost so many prompts to be sent and actually would translate to quite a lot of cost in end at the end, as we would have to pay for this, of course, which sorry, which simply made us think that maybe it's not yet this case, especially when we are talking about doing it in a way that the full documentation is being updated. For smaller chunks, yes, for sure, that's possible, and that's something that we are still working on, and most likely will be continuing this kind of approach.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that because that also reminds us that the ownership is on a creators, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
still have to supervise AI, and if you want to maintain quality, you have to make it wise. Okay, so what tools from the core of your AI workflow today? What is there that you can recommend at the current stage of your using?
Yeah, so right now I would say that as mentioned a bit earlier, we are mostly using Cursor and Cloud Code. Cursor is mostly used by guys on the front end side, whereas Cloud is on the back end. However, still both can be used, and because of their like seamless integration, it's really easy to use it in a day-to-day basis. When it comes to product design, we are using dedicated and customized GPT model that helps in suggesting solutions, answering some questions when it comes to creating something new, making sure we keep things coherent within the solution that's already existing. Basically, it acts as like a virtual assistant, making sure that we don't miss anything. Also, when speed is the key, Figma Make is being used for some lo-fi prototypes, wireframes that we want to do whenever they are needed. When it comes to testing in general, I would say mostly about the manual part. Atlassian's Rovo is being used vastly as it speeds up gathering information from various points like Confluence, Jira tasks, etc. So it's really useful. There's also more like automated testing approach where again ChatGPT prompts with GitHub Copilot integrated in VS Code is being used extensively. It allows for generating some code out of the box, creating some boilerplate code for whole tests, and again it also helps a lot with setting things up, like setting environments, installing some dependencies, stuff like that. It is way faster to do this in that way rather than you would do in, let's say, classical approach.
Okay, excellent. So when you first started working with AI, I'm sure you made some mistakes, right? So what is your advice to us that are starting in a product that is already that is mature and that has a large code base? What mistakes or misconceptions we should avoid of?
Yeah. So one of, I think, bigger misconceptions, like errors at the very beginning that we had is we were kind of expecting that we'll get this instant fast, instant speed, efficiency, everything will be done by itself. AI will magically do everything in the code. So we just will be able to, drink some cola or whatever. But it turned out that, as you said, well, human is still at the steering wheel, so you can't let AI go too far. In doing any complex tasks, it's very important to make sure that AI does not miss anything, because it's like a common error that if you would just say, hey, fix those tests. Most likely you won't get good results because some context might be missing. It's way better to say fix this and this issue in this test, basing on this and this, and knowing the context from here and here. And for sure, that was something that we thought will be easier. We also thought that it will be easier to have this autonomously, like tasks that will be able to be done without any assistance. So it was also something that we saw while still this manual intervention is required. We also thought that like AI will help in following this Boy Scout rules. So whenever something can be fixed already, it will be fixed already. And no, it turned out that at least in our case, it wasn't like this. Still, if you just let it work without any good specifics, it will produce a code that is of, let's say, mediocre quality at least, at best. And it needs some fine tuning to actually get good results. It actually still requires many interventions. And when it comes to answering this question, what would be good, best practices that work for us? I would say that small baby steps in general. So whenever you do introduce any changes with AI, it's way better to make sure that it is something that you can control. It's way better for us to be sure that you know what's actually being changed. Don't follow this, auto accept, but rather make sure that you do accept the changes manually. You know well what's happening and where, and in that way you actually get predictable results. So it's more of like some assistance rather than just doing the job for you. It's not yet this, at least not for us, but still we see many areas where it really helps a lot. And actually, there's also one interesting thing that in the product design area, at least, again, in some contexts, in some activities, AI tends to actually create its own words, which means that if you don't like make sure that you check the spelling, you check the results, you may miss something, and it turns out there's like something that's feels totally out of the place, and you may never know what actually it meant by it. But then again, small steps that are easy to control are best approach.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for this insights there. We only have 25 minutes. I think we should take we can talk about in hours about the subject, but one of the last questions, and this one is about future. If you would choose one next experiment or AI capability to try, what would it be?
Yes, so having one, I think it's kind of difficult to answer this. For sure, I know we want to continue like some investigations around this autonomous agents. So having this capability of something being done really automatically without intervention. I know that we also want to do something around product design area where we would like to have some analytics research done automatically by AI with its support, where basically AI would design the research itself, basing on our input, so that it just gives you the research that you want to have. And there's also this idea that we've started only recently when it comes to automated tests being generated with the help of MCP integration that gives us this ability to make sure that most of the job is again done automatically. And since we've only started this, it's also something we want to continue.
Okay, excellent, Eric. Thank you for sharing with us all the insights and learnings. I hope it's going to be useful for anyone who's watching the show. Thanks for everything and your side of the world of experimenting, because we're still in the era of experimenting in AI. So that's all for today in Agile Product Builders Tech Edition. Thanks for watching, guys,
Thank you
and
so
stay
much.
tuned for more stories from the front lines of AI enhanced product development. Thank you, Arek.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.